A beautiful morning to you. Welcome to VOP this morning. I'm Moses Humphrey and working with Esther Wachuku. Now, the Economic Community of West African States directs deployment of a standby force to restore constitutional order in Niger Republic. Now, that's one issue that we will be looking at this morning because it is a pertinent issue. Now, plus, the House of Reps has issued an arrest warrant on former top officials of the Federal Character Commission and the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System. Now, that's the other topic that we'll focus on this morning. In the meantime, we would like for you to subscribe to our page on YouTube. We are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms, it is at VOPTV Live. First off, let's head to the cover pages of the dailies and find out what stories made it to the cover pages of most newspapers. All right, so we have the Guardian newspaper right here. We'll be starting off with the Guardian newspaper, and there is a headline on Niger. Niger forms new government as ECOWAS standby force ready for deployment. All right, that's the banner headline for the Guardian newspaper. Now, when you go further down, you have scenes of forgotten past. Nigerians opt for cinemas ahead aging museums. And we also have a youth party, false claim of 1 trillion naira saved in post-subsidy era. Reps issues arrest warrant on IPPIS officer over alleged job racketeering. Otedola makes fresh move, raises stake in FBNH with 0.3% worth 2 billion naira. Nigerian artists raised 11 billion naira revenue from Spotify in 2022. All right, so these are the headlines that we have. Entertainment seems to be, a real money spinner, if you ask me. Cyril. Oh yes, I do have with me in the studio Cyril Abaku, VOP in-house analyst. Good morning to you, Cyril.
A very good morning to you, Moses.
So, what do you make of the headlines that we have shared this morning from the Guardian newspaper?
Oh well, one hard, one soft, perhaps, and one in the middle. Let me begin with the banner headline about the ECOWAS meeting, the outcome of the meeting that culminated essentially in the order to deploy a standby force in the event of a decision to properly enter Niger to depose the military junta if necessary by force of arms. Is a welcome development. I have always maintained my stand that this was the only way to put an end to the madness that is ravaging the sub-region. If you don't, you look at what happened in Europe in the 1930s, it was the exact same thing. In 1938, Hitler first took the Sudetenland land that belonged to Czechoslovakia in the name of all sorts of things that he cooked up. Later on, it was the Anschluss, the other part of Russia. Was it Anschluss before it's Czech, but I can't remember now. Then the world gave him the first one, gave the second one. Then the third one came and they were frightened. Point to be made is this: you cannot. Diplomacy may come later, but you cannot ultimately depose a strong man by appeasing him. I've not seen it happen anywhere in history. The strong man that made Guinea to collapse, the strong man that made Mali to collapse, the strong man has made Burkina Faso collapse. I know that people in West Africa are tired of useless, are tired of governments that don't
Corrupt government.
Yes, that are disconnected from them. It's understandable. But I do know that anybody who has a keen understanding of the issues knows that self-preservation is the first thing you do. And the only way to preserve your government or preserve your democracy or preserve the way of life you've chosen to adopt is to be ready to defend it if necessary by force of arms. If you cannot do that, it's as good as you have nothing to take pride in. Let me pause there.
You can't pause there. I'll tell you why. because there's another headline from the Punch newspaper that says Niger crisis, ECOWAS troops on standby. Junta threatens to kill Bazoum. Tinubu says ECOWAS open to dialogue. UN, US worry over Bazoum in junta's captivity. Concerns rise over looming humanitarian crisis, burden on Nigeria's finances, military. So, still on this. If this happens, if this threat happens, what does it portend? Because that then it will be, an outright war. And if we're talking war, it's war on the entire region, which may linger for. I mean, we're not just talking about Niger now. We're talking about the powers that are backing them up. We're talking about the other West African countries that have military rulers currently. So we're talking about, you know, what will affect the entire region, and Nigeria is at the center of it, as we speak. And obviously, Nigerians don't seem to want to go to war.
Okay.
Serial.
Yeah. No. You see, the full gamut of this conversation cannot be undertaken on television. Understand me? But the reality is that there is a threat. And the question I've always asked is, are we ready to return to the era of the 80s where we have jackboots everywhere? Where all your leaders are military generals and commanders, and do we want to go back to that era? If we want to go back to it, all well and good, because the argument on both sides seems to be good enough to fly. I have pinned my argument down on the fact that, one, there is a need to defend democracy, and number two, you can't have rain falling on your neighbor's roof and assume that nothing is going to happen in your backyard. I find it a little bit worrisome if that's the sort of logic that you want to play by. I won't come here and talk about the strategy of war and the ramifications. Mali today is bogged down in conflict. Burkina Faso today is bogged down in conflict. So even when you think Mali and Burkina Faso are going to back Niger, it doesn't really sound very strong. Even for the Wagner troops. I imagine where would Mali today Mali and Guinea and Burkina Faso would have been overrun, which is even a more serious problem. Because of course Nigeria also has its own Boko Haram problems. But the fact is, the war you are avoiding, you're already at war. Nigeria is at war already internally. Mali is at war already. What's it called? Burkina Faso is already at war. So I honestly don't know. I think that fundamentally our psychology has come. In Nigeria, for example, years of misrule, maladministration, dysfunction, okay, incompetent and corrupt governments have made Nigerians to begin to think that we are not Africa's big brother or Africa's giant. We see ourselves less than who we originally used to be. Uganda, South Africa, Zimbabwe, all the freedom fighters, the likes of Mugabe, the likes of Mandela, the likes of Mbeki Zuma, maybe some people have forgotten. All these people came to Kaduna, to Nigeria, to learn warfare. It was in fact the first Republic Minister of Aviation, Mbazuli Kamechi. It was in his house that people like Thabo Mbeki and Mandela came to hide. At the heart of the apartheid struggle, they came to Nigeria to come and take our nation. So if we now see ourselves as less than who we originally used to be, let me tell you, whatever becomes of democracy or the well-being of the sub-region has a lot to Nigeria has a lot to determine that. So if we sit back and in 5 years time we are the last democracy standing, how will that all go well for our people? How will that stand for our people? Because there's nothing as there's no such thing as a good military rule. There can be. I want to Abacha, Babangida. There's no such thing as a good military government. Even Murtala Mohammed, one man has powers that you cannot question. He can wake up and issue a decree and it's final. You can't check his powers. It's not right. You see, even when democracy is not so good, at least you see that for us to have a Senate president, the president didn't just impose. There was some people said yes, some said no, and so on. It's still better than having somebody can wake up one day and just make a law and it stands. It's not what it should be. We won't have freedoms. You wake up tomorrow and they say government has banned this and has banned that. My personal concern is this thing about the leaders they know it. They know. The people these are things that one only thinks in personally, but let me say it here. The Nigerians who are against the president's stance on military intervention in Niger are those who have nothing to lose if he was ousted as Bazoum was ousted. Go and check it. They are those who don't give a hoot about whether this happens in Nigeria or not. Not that I'm the president's supporter, I'm not.
All right,
I'm a Nigerian. I support my country. But I believe that there is a need to defend democracy at any cost.
All right, some other headlines from the Punch newspaper. We have Kalu lobbies Ganduje for more Southeast ministerial slots. Naira slump. Fuel price may go up, says marketers. Shaibu, there's another story that broke yesterday about the likelihood of gas going up.
Yes.
Meanwhile, some people are getting
prayers
in their mailboxes. Shaibu
in double-digit millers.
Shaibu falls defection claim. Court halts removal. And when you go further down, you have flood hits Edo, Adamawa, Ekiti, 17 others. Elevator crash. More dust after Lagos female doctor's tragic death. Bus crashes into Lagos shops, kills mother, daughter. All right. These are some headlines that we have from the Punch newspaper. Is there any you want to?
Well, the matter of fuel prices likely going up is a stark reality. I mean, the last increase that we witnessed that took us from 4 something to 5 something or 6 something now came because the dollar prices was. I mean, yesterday people couldn't believe how much they were buying the dollar with in the alternative market. It was
almost 1,000 naira.
In fact, somebody told me later in the evening that it was 8,000 plus. Later in the evening, I remember somebody was saying that it was more than 1,000. Now, 2 things are happening. Dollar is in short supply. It is scarce. So the later you have, you pack everything you have to just get the little you have. That's one. Number 2, in the international market, the price of fuel, the price of oil is rising, and with that it means that the amount of money with which you buy is higher than so it means that eventually if you can take the risk anyway, then you transfer the burden to the end user. So whether it will rise or not, it's just a matter of days. I mean, you may wake up by Monday and hear that the weekend is a good time for government to make the announcement, and before you know, something has happened. My personal take is that what is happening in the world notwithstanding, if God has been good, kind enough to bless us with the oil, and our refineries were also working, I think we would have just simply
resorted to
then let the people who have the whatever to buy, who have no choice than to buy it in the global market, whatever, bear their own brunt. But Nigeria said no. Nigeria says no. We prefer to suffer. We prefer. And then if the price of oil goes up, the price of fuel goes up, it won't be because of these factors. It will be because of our government's own incompetence. No doubt about it. It will be because of our government's own. I wonder what it will take government, the Ministry of Petroleum and all these people, say, what can we do to fix these refineries, even if it's in 3 months or 5 months or 6 months? Because when war breaks out, people think outside of the box, and solutions always come. Military engineers cannot fix it. Ministry of Petroleum cannot fix it. NNPC cannot fix it. You cannot gather people from petroleum engineering departments from Uniport, where they have a very good program, world-class program at Uniport. Let's say Uniben. Let's say what are these schools now? You even have these petroleum universities. Okay, there's one. I'm trying to pick the name now. Efuru, is it I think there's one in Efuru also. All of them don't have solutions. For the natural resource that you have in your country, they have no solutions to how to. But then, people who are doing artisanal refining, who you call fire people, they're refining this and are selling it. So who is deceiving who then? Why are we not? Why don't you take this country serious? Why? Why? I don't think it's because price of anything. It is because our government is negligent, is incompetent, cares less, and does not give a hoot who dies or who suffers for it. Well, you know, when you're taking 100 million naira to cut a hair every month, and another whatever million to go on holiday, just go and relax for a few weeks or month, then come back for doing absolutely nothing, for telling people to take a bath and walk away. How will you feel? The masses feel. Moses, owners of companies in the business world, sometimes people who own they just feel like those are the higher echelons of government. We owe them we owe them goodwill, if only to make laws and whatever that will make our business. So the so-called all those prayers that they are receiving in their mailboxes, they won't even have any need to use it. Do you remember when a probe revealed in this country that a particular one of the foreign telecoms operators, big major, used to give recharge cards, just load senators and whatever rep members phones like that for nothing? That's gagging, just gags them. So what is the thing that they even use money to do? In the end, it's nothing. In Bauchi, the governor gave local government chairman 700 and something million naira for furniture allowance. Yesterday, I saw the news yesterday. In Bauchi State, local government chairman, council chairman, close to $1 billion, more than half $1 billion naira as a furniture allowance. What are they going to buy and where? I'll be put in the houses. Council chairman.
Oh well.
You want to be a politician now?
Of course. Who wouldn't want to? Don't you want to?
I don't want to be a politician.
But I would like to serve my people.
You sound like them.
Okay.
I never knew you had the lines.
Let's look at some other headlines before we wrap up newspaper review. From the Nation newspaper now, we'll just go through the banner headline, but then focus on some of the headlines here. Banner headline is ECOWAS puts troops on standby for Niger Republic junta. All options on the table. UN worried over fate of President Bazoum. Tinubu extols chartered accountant Akintola Williams at 104. Oshomole to Shaibu. APC not haven for failed politicians. Southeast governors to battle insecurity collectively. Carbide ripened fruits dangerous. NAFDAC warns. 21 killed in Plateau dawn attack by bandits. And we have General Aguai, Jega, Uwais, Bugaje, 8 others don't use force on coupists. Let government balance ECOWAS interest with national interest. NBS report, agric sector lost 577 billion naira to flooding in 2022. And then at the bottom part, we have Naira closes at 950 Naira to $1 in parallel market. Motions on Emefiele for Tuesday. All right, so these are the headlines. Cyril.
So many big stories here.
Yes.
The Plateau killings are back are back in the news. It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
Everything we've said here has come to pass. This government, like the past government, has washed its hands off the killings on the Plateau. Otherwise, I wonder what sort of restitution, what sort of forgiveness they want to seek now. Let me just pick one particular incident. Was it not the governors of Zamfara and Plateau that went to visit the new governors that went to visit the chief of defense staff. And what did he say?
What did they say to him?
No, they took their case to him and said, look, this insecurity in our backyard is out of hand and so on. They were the ones who even went to visit him. And he said he was saying something to the effect of looking at the issues, and trying to resolve it. When did the security when did you come to that point? Police intelligence, NSCDC, military intelligence, you have Navy, Army, all these people, DSS, they're all there. Nobody really knows what's going on. You can't nip it in the body. And they told them to go and try to look at the sides to the issue and so on. People who shouldn't hold, people who are carrying firearms illegally are sacking communities. And you said now that he gave them that advice, what has it resulted in? The police appears helpless. Everybody seems to be just maybe waiting for a signal. I can't even say. It happened in Benue. It happened in Kaduna. It is happening in Plateau. It's not right.
It's not right.
How is it that we cannot protect our own selves as a country? And this is exactly what it is this argument that people are holding and saying, you've not defeated bandits, you've not defeated Boko Haram,
of course, yes.
You've not defeated and you want to go and dislodge a government in
another
Niger.
country. All right, Cyril, I must thank you at this point as we wrap up this part of the show. Thank you very much, Cyril Abaku, for staying with us. Cyril Abaku is VOP's in-house analyst. Up next on VOP this morning, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has directed the deployment of a standby military troops against Niger. Now, details of this in a moment. Stay with us.